My brother cheated on me by having an affair with my girlfriend for 3 years. I ended that relationship, and now my family pressured me to forgive my brother after betraying me. Let's go back a little to when I was 22 years old. I am currently 27 years old. I had this huge shock at the time. For 3 whole years, my fiancée and I had been extremely close, but behind my back, she was discreetly seeing my brother Kevin. I was around 25 when Kevin was born. Yes, it is somewhat harsh, don't you think? I was thinking, no way this can't be happening when I learned the truth. I made the decision to break up with my fiancé and return to my parents' house. For a whole month, I even proved to my parents that I wasn't making things up by showing them what was happening. Kevin did not give up on apologizing. He would try to apologize by text, phone, and even in person, but I was so heartbroken that I just kind of ignored him or acted distant from him when he did manage to catch me. Then even more bizarre things occurred. After observing the state of affairs, my parents concluded that it was time for everyone to reconcile. This large family gathering was really organized by them, similar to those unexpected TV interventions. And who was that person, you ask? Kevin, my ex-girlfriend, and several of our family members. They all began pleading with me to forget what had occurred and to forgive them, especially Kevin. Thus, rather than improving my situation, the entire intervention experience made me feel worse. I informed them up front that I couldn't simply forget and forgive what they had done, especially in the case of Kevin. Kevin was more than just my sibling. You know, he was like my hero. I had a lot of respect for him. We had a close bond. Subsequently, he proceeded to stab me in the back using the sharpest possible tip. I eventually had the chance to relocate far, far away from all of this trouble. And you can guarantee that I took it without turning around. I completely cut off communication with Kevin and my parents. Go to the previous few months. My grandma has been ill and things have gotten worse, so I visited her in the hospital as I was leaving. I've been talking to one of my cousins about this. Who did I happen to run into? Yes, Kevin. I was thinking, who are you? He tried to start a conversation saying he was extremely sorry and wanted us to be brothers again. I believe you have me confused with someone else. Then he started crying, and I simply turned to leave. Even though it was a really difficult and unpleasant moment, I couldn't bear to experience so much anguish again after everything that had transpired. My cousin contacted me later after that unpleasant encounter to inform me that Kevin had been experiencing mental health issues ever since I broke up with him. His state of mind has deteriorated drastically. Then, after obtaining my number from my cousin, my parents contacted and essentially begged me to see Kevin. They said that it would greatly benefit him and provide him with some small measure of tranquility. I was shocked that they were inquiring about this. My mother even broke down in tears while on the phone, expressing how much she missed our previous closeness as a family and how she hoped her sons would make amends. However, I told her that there was no prospect of that occurring because you, your dad, and Kevin destroyed everything. I've had enough about what you all desire. My dad then used a new tactic, saying that perhaps things could return to normal if we all just took a seat, had a heart-to-heart, and expressed our regret for any hurt we may have caused. But I quickly ended that. I informed them that I really didn't want to have this conversation and that I wasn't the right person to apologize in this situation. It is simply too much to ask for things to return to normal after everything that has transpired. The following day, things became much more dire. My dad contacted me with what seemed like tears in his eyes to tell me something very important. After hearing what I stated, Kevin attempted to harm himself by taking a number of tablets away. It appears that my words had a profound effect on him, and he was unable to cope. Fortunately, my parents discovered him in time, and he is currently receiving the care he requires in the hospital. They still maintain the belief that if I were to return to Kevin's life, all of his issues would miraculously disappear. But in all honesty, that just seems like too much. Saying that I'm accountable for his mental health isn't really fair. When the mere thought of him makes me feel so angry, hurt, and deceived, how am I meant to help him? He's my sibling. Yes, but in light of everything that has transpired, I simply cannot see wanting anything to do with him. It's a very difficult situation to be in. Families are pleading with you to intervene and support them, but it's difficult to even entertain the idea because of all the personal pain and unresolved emotions. So, am I a bad person for not wanting to interact with my brother? Tilda. Comments that are pertinent. Prior to the update, I told my parents I wanted some separation from my brother before I moved away, even though they were trying to encourage me to talk to him. They paid no attention. They continued scheduling get-togethers so we could discuss. They became even more hostile toward me after I informed them I wanted some space. never abandoning me, always in my ear, always in my space. My brother persisted in urging me to speak with him, even though that was my request. It got worse when I told him I wanted to gather my thoughts before speaking with him, but he refused to listen. My parents were inquiring when I was going to return, when I was going to make things right, and when we would return to normal throughout the first few weeks after I moved out. I told them to back off so I could have some time to ponder. Permit me to choose when and if I wanted to speak with my brother. However, they didn't. That's the reason I went. No communication since I was unable to find calm. They constantly told me what I should do, rather than what was best for me at the time, so I was unable to think clearly around them. Although at first I did miss them, they are back to their previous behavior. Source. They apologized, but they couldn't help but admit that they were soulmates and in love. They didn't know how to tell me, but they wanted to, that because they loved me, they would never want to harm me. However, I had to comprehend them. That was the sum total of it. After being in love for a long, they eventually found it too much to bear. They essentially continued saying the same words over and over again while varying their delivery. I have no idea if they were courting at the time of the intervention. I'm not sure, but they might have. Source. They began dating a year after my departure, but their relationship ended due to criticism from my grandparents and other family members. Source. Several people told me throughout the intervention why I should forgive Kevin and my ex in particular. It was all just excuses from my former partner and Kevin. Kevin apologized profusely, but he was always coming up with an explanation. He never gave off the impression of being apologetic. He gave off the impression that he was just ready to be finished, like it was just a small quarrel. The relationship lasted for a year. They dated for a year after I left. Her communications are linked to her laptop, which is how I found out. I had to use it. My brother sent me a message which I found strange as they wouldn't often interact socially. I made the decision to read the messages and I found texts, images, and videos. Source, .. update. I want to start by sincerely thanking everyone for sharing their ideas and personal experiences with me. Although I haven't been very good at responding to everyone, I promise that I have been reading all of your comments, and they are really meaningful. It's been quite the ride. Thus, I would like to thank each and every one of you. Let's now discuss something that has been brought up frequently. Some people have been stating that in a roundabout way, my brother Kevin taught me that my ex-girlfriend wasn't the right person for me, therefore I should really be grateful to him. Here's the problem, though. I can't seem to get comfortable with that thought. Kevin is not just any random person from the street, he's my brother. Being family rather than a stranger makes it feel much more difficult and terrible. To clear things up, I don't really want anything negative to happen to Kevin. I want nothing to happen to him, not even hurt. However, I'm not wanting to make amends or become best friends with him. You know, I really had plans to pop the question to my ex-girlfriend. Yes, I did take her very seriously. Kevin was fully aware of it. He was aware of the depth of my affections for her. Okay, nope, there's no way in hell that I'm going to give him credit for anything. My therapist has been incredibly helpful, and I've been keeping in touch with a lot of my extended relatives, especially my grandparents. Here is an update on everything that has happened. As it happens, Kevin never really tried to end his life. My parents hurried him to the hospital because, in reality, he was experiencing a major mental breakdown. Now for the shocking part. My parents informed me that he took his life, hoping that information would encourage me to see him since they thought I could be of assistance to him. As of right moment, Kevin is under tight observation because he is thought to be suicidal. I'm not sure if my parents are simply keeping an eye on him at home or if he's receiving the expert assistance he needs. My Uncle Ray told me the whole truth. My mom broke down and told him everything, and he called me. When their plan to arrange for me to see Kevin fell through, Uncle Ray's statement added a new level of complexity to my already complex feelings regarding the dynamics of my family. The idea that my parents turned to deceiving me in an attempt to patch things up with Kevin worries me. Even so, I'm glad Kevin didn't try death. I feel betrayed and angry at being taken advantage of. It's a difficult situation to strike a balance between the family's need for honesty and respect and worries for Kevin's well-being. My own emotional well-being and our family ties have been on my mind a lot as a result of this entire experience. I felt compelled to speak with my parents after discovering the complete truth about Kevin's circumstances from my Uncle Ray. I then gave them a call and explained everything. Any remote possibility of our relationship ever getting better was now completely gone. The fact that they misrepresented Kevin's attempt and treated him like a pawn in their scheme astounds me. I told them straight out that they were acting inappropriately and needed serious help since it was more damaging than anything else. They attempted self-defense, claiming that their only goal was to reunite our family and go back to the times when Kevin and I were close. However, in light of all that has transpired, including this falsehood, I bluntly informed them that it would never occur. I have no business interfering in Kevin's life. He actually needs expert assistance. That's when my dad went crazy, raising his voice to insist that I had a responsibility to stand by Kevin no matter what as his brother. He stated that in spite of his grave error, Kevin still loved me, an error for which he shouldn't be penalized indefinitely. In agreement with my dad, my mother added that it was time for me to go back home so that our family could once again be happy. I told them I was done and that they should never get in touch with me again. I was forceful in my statement. They called me back for several days after that chat in an attempt to get in touch. Nevertheless, the call abruptly ended. I was exhausted from the entire experience and felt even more cut off from my family, feeling as though you must decide between your personal well-being and the obligations of family devotion is a difficult situation to be in. But I realized I needed to set limits for my own benefit after being taken advantage of like that. Thankfully, my grandmother has returned from the hospital to her house. She turned out to be the cause of the abrupt stop and the calls from my parents. I didn't want to put further strain on her, so I hadn't told her what was going on, but she found out through Uncle Ray. She was not happy at all when Ray told her about the complex circumstances. She made the decision to have Ray take her directly to my parents' house in a way that only she could. When she got there, she gave them such a hard time that they started crying. My father, her son, was particularly impacted because of the close family relationship. She didn't mince words when she told them that their behavior had effectively made them outsiders in the family, of which they were no longer even remotely a part. However, Granny didn't end there. She also took time to pay Kevin a visit. She made it quite evident to him that he required expert assistance, and she promised to support him in obtaining it if he was prepared to take that action. She did, however, also make it obvious that although she would not completely cut him out of her life, he would need to make some serious changes and progress in order for the family to fully accept him again. Grandma's involvement provided much-needed relief from the oppressive circumstances we've been facing. Knowing that she is watching out for everyone's well-being is a relief, establishing the boundaries that ought to have existed from the beginning and advocating for expert assistance when it is required. Her acts serve as a reminder of the fortitude and insight that a little outside viewpoint can bring to a family problem. I didn't tell Grandma all that was going on, and she wasn't very happy about it. I attempted to justify myself, believing I had a valid cause for sparing her from all of this drama, especially since she had recently left the hospital after all, but she would have none of it. Grandpa actually burst out laughing when she ignored my excuse and gave me a swift smack on the back of the head in her typical fashion. Both of them made it plain that they were intervening to seize command of the circumstance. They pledged to protect me from my parents' prying eyes and to see to it that Kevin receives the urgently needed expert assistance. I thank them and let them know that I worry that they are becoming overly anxious, especially in light of Granny's most recent hospitalization. Grandma, however, wasn't going to accept it either, and answered with a forceful blow to the head to make her point very apparent. They stress that it is their responsibility as grandparents to intervene on behalf of their grandchildren, particularly when they are in need. It served as a gentle reminder of their unwavering love and support, even when it included a slap across the face for attempting to manage things alone. Their unwavering commitment to helping no matter what truly helped me put things into perspective and emphasized the value of family support in trying times. Grandma took the time to say that although she recognizes the suffering Kevin has brought me, it's obvious that he needs medical attention badly, something we could both agree upon. Grandpa then added his voice, telling me they would watch out for Kevin and make sure my parents really took good care of him. They also vowed to keep my peace safe by making sure that I couldn't be contacted by any members of the family I wanted to stay away from. Grandma made it very evident that keeping secrets from her would not be in my best interests once more when she gave me a firm but compassionate warning about it. I got the message. No more grandmother's secrets. As things stand, Kevin is headed toward receiving the assistance he needs. Grandma has her eye on my parents too, which, to be honest, is a little relieving to know. It appears like the proper kind of intervention is taking place right now. I'm satisfied with how things have turned out. My grandparents and I now have a closer bond. In addition to reconnecting with more family members, I've been communicating with them more regularly. Notwithstanding how difficult it has been, this experience has served as a reminder of the value of honest communication and the enduring strength of family ties, particularly the crucial role grandparents can play in offering guidance, support, and even a little punishment when necessary. Knowing that there are people in my corner who are prepared to step in and assist, lead us through difficult times, gives me some comfort in the middle of chaos. My second story BFF duped me and abandoned me. Concluded. I am not the one who wrote from 2 accounts on EUD's app, and I used /resolution known 8070. My friend betrayed and ignored me. The guy was unable to even come clean and tell me that he no longer wanted to be in a relationship. He refused to respond to me for 2 days, leading me to believe that he had passed away. Yes, his roommate had to tell me that over the phone. He's all right. He is having an affair with my ex. Thus, he's not just taking advantage of me, but also his roommate, supposedly his closest pal. What a fucking pathetic individual. It's unbelievable that I was duped. I nearly confessed my love to him. I'm furious with myself. I'm really repulsed. First update. So on Wednesday, I went to my ex's place to get some stuff. His roommate encouraged me to do some insane and trivial things to his room, so I left. His housemate was really sorry for me. I felt awful for him, really. The person who deceived him is still the one he must live with. He accepted my offer to buy him lunch and extended his hand for a toke. I just had a bite of my meal at the Thai restaurant we went to. I've entirely lost my appetite and been wondering if it was right that I trashed my ex's room. When I asked my roommate, he was surprised and said, "Don't you think he deserved it?" Yes, he did. However, I'm such a sweetheart. I thought I had gone a little crazy over it. I brought him back to the flat and expressed my sadness at losing the opportunity to see their pet. He said I was welcome to visit whenever I wanted, even if it was simply to hook up with my ex. He said, "Yeah, come out with me," when I asked if he had any plans for St. Patrick's Day. I agreed as a result. For a few days, we exchanged texts. He mentioned that he hadn't had shepherd's pie in a long time when I told him I was preparing it for my folks. Since I planned to make some for them on Friday if things hadn't blown up already, I volunteered to bring him some. I spent Friday afternoon making the pies and then went to a bar that evening to meet him. Reached the bar. Throughout the night, he presented me to everyone as my roommate's girlfriend, whom he had an affair with. Even though I felt sorry for him, I was concerned about how his co-workers and these strangers would perceive me because they had come to his job to receive free drinks. I was keeping a watchful eye on him because he had been drinking all day, whereas I had only started. We went to his car to smoke and then to a house party. Following, he was hugging me and wrapping his arm around me at this gathering. It was pleasant to feel. We returned to his car after leaving the gathering. After a brief exchange of words, he asked to kiss me. I agreed, and we briefly dated. After guiding me to my car, he asked if I would want to accompany him back to the apartment, with the potential to see my former partner. Not right now. Instead, I made my way home. My objective was not to make love to my roommate. Since he's too young for me and I can't bring myself to commit to anything physical right now, I know it won't turn into anything meaningful. To top it off, my cycle is late, 4 days after the fact. I'm hoping stress is the only cause. Essentially lying to his former boyfriend about seeing his roommate, Pipeline. Pertinent remarks prior to the update. NGL 49 Crimson Vixen. It seems like he's simply playing around with you now to get under his roommate's skin, based on how he presented you to everyone. But I could be mistaken. OP, I guess. And I'm kind of cool with it. He may have a reputation, but at least he tells it like it is. I simply told him that I preferred friendship, love, and comfort over sex. And since he can find sex anyplace, he's cool with it. Pause. Uncommon. Lingonberry. 5251. He is mourning deeply and is in a very vulnerable situation. He seems to be taking this quite hard. In addition, he is somewhat traumatized because he is forced to live with the one who started it. I believe he will make some poor decisions. He is handling things differently than you are. He was too drunk to make a wise decision, so I'm glad you returned home instead of going to his residence. Make sure you both recognize one another's vulnerability and show each other respect. Best wishes to you both. Oh no, yes, I'm really sorry for him. 6 years of friendship destroyed. He doesn't drink much and has a sound mind on his shoulders. He just took advantage of the fact that it was the first Friday off he had in a very long time. We're still getting to know each other because we didn't talk much when I was dating my ex, but I think we both appreciate each other. He promised to leave me alone if I didn't feel right or if this was too much for me. He simply wants me to feel at ease, which is something I value. If you would like me to, I will most certainly leave him alone. He's lovely to talk to and go out with, but I don't really feel attached to him. Hehe. Patriot 0811 is still in effect today. It's seriously time for you to go away from this drama. No games, no retaliation. Cut off communication with your ex. Break up with his roommate and get on with your life. Rainfall. Raven. Prioritize taking care of the cat. Opie, they deserve better. He is so deserving of better. However, it's all right. When I see him, I'll make love to him. Second update. Once more, hello, Reddit. Though I don't really have anything to report, I wanted to let everyone know that I've been doing okay. We've been in our new home for 10 days now that my cat and I moved in. Aside from my cat's initial anxiety, it's been excellent. But she's getting used to it. My former roommate and I haven't spoken in weeks. Though the scenario started to bother us both. We are still friends on Pokemon Go regarding my former partner. I haven't heard from him at all since he and the girl split up. I'm grateful that he views all of my social media posts, but hasn't tried to communicate with me. I suppose he's just trying to find out what he's been missing. My mom promised to pay for the concert I'm attending the next week, and my elder sister recently informed me that she would be covering my phone bill for the remainder of the year. This month has truly been incredibly lucky for me, and I know I deserve it. In addition, I'm getting a kitten from their most recent litter from my friend who gave me my cat. I'm eager to fill that space on my own, and am hopeful that they can help my cat come out of her shell. Since this is the sole unfavorable update, I've started therapy. I was having sex with a guy when I had a panic attack. He was cool with it until I started crying and throwing up into his pillow after telling him that I thought it was too soon after the breakup. After leaving his residence, I cried like a chain smoker all the way home. He's asked to visit me ever since. But I doubt I will. For some reason that didn't frighten him off. I believe I'll be by myself and single for a while. Concentrate on becoming a better me. That concludes this update, which is likely the final one. All I'm going to do is recover, become radiant, and thrive. 3 updates. Hi there. A long time has passed. Go through it, both enormous and little. There have been modifications since my original post, which has since been removed. I'm sorry, just a little. My 4-month boyfriend cheated on me with the insane ex-girlfriend of his roommate. My roommate informed me since my boyfriend had stopped seeing me. It's exciting that I moved out on my own since then. I adore my new location. My other cat and the kitten I got get along so well. She's the best. Moreover, they are sisters. Different litters, same mom. I spent some time visiting a therapist. I went to concerts, went on trips, spent more time with friends and so forth. All right, on to the juicy stuff. To be honest, not much has occurred. I unfollowed him on social media, but he kept looking at my stuff for a few months. One night I dreamed that he told me he was getting a new job and was going to become a father. That left me feeling really angry when I got up and drove into work. With my ex, en route to work. Later that day, he stopped following me on social media. It's about time. Since we're just friends, I texted his roommate to find out more about the pregnancy. He said that I was perplexed when he did bring anything up to me the other day. However, now that you've asked, it makes sense. Thus, to sum up, he got the girl with whom he had an affair pregnant in less than 3 months. Congratulations to them. I hope they are miserable together. I have occasionally gone on dates. I don't like people touching me anymore, much less having sex with me because I have intimacy issues. I'm going through a dry spell right now, haha. All I'm doing is living it up, free from tension and deceit. That is, I believed, since we deleted our mutual social media followers. That, I assumed, would be it. He watched the humorous video I published yesterday. This pathetic excuse for a man made the effort to find me and read my narrative. Though I'm aware that blocking him would be preferable, I'm not too concerned about it. He can only look on with regret at having lost the best thing that had ever occurred to him. I don't think I'll be updating again because I doubt he'll get in touch. I'm just going to keep living my life to the fullest and savoring my alone on this planet. Update. Hi there. It has been a while. I've known that my former boyfriend cheated on me with his best friend's roommate's ex for exactly 7 months. I'm doing really well, I'd like to say. It all went down about a month later, and I moved out on my own. Just her half-sister, whom I adopted in August, and me and my cat. I'm working very hard in my job, attended some concerts. I have been spending time with my beloved family and friends and taking some much-needed holidays. My ex has not contacted me, and I have blocked him on most social media sites. I'm not interested in learning about his life, and it's a plus that he lives far away from me, meaning I'd never see him. While addition, he unfollowed me on Instagram when we had a chance encounter while passing on the freeway. Men are strange. They will follow you but not follow you back. Well, anything. Goodbye and so long. He's visited my house a couple times with his now ex-roommate. He's quite popular with my cats, but I've turned him down several times when he's tried to sleep with me. I don't care for him, and I definitely don't care to sleep with someone who was so close to my former partner. I've recently begun dating this amazing man. We recently started going to the gym together and get along so well. My healthiest relationship is this one by far. Despite my misgivings about dating a member of the armed forces, I'll take his puppy to the dog park and look after him when he has to go away for training. I spend probably half the week at his apartment, and he's funny and kind. I am really in love with him, and I'm excited to watch this develop. This coming weekend, he will be spending an unplanned Thanksgiving with my family. My sister and her family are in town, so we've been having. She has a little interrogation strategy because she was in the military as well, but it should go well. Ha. That's the update anyway. I can only hope that things will continue to improve from here.